Hello and welcome. Thank you for choosing me, and let's go ahead and get started. So what is clicker training? Best known in marine animal training, the clicker is a way to communicate with animals who can't be controlled physically. Using the clicker sound, we will communicate with your dog close approximations towards the target behavior. How does it work? It is actually very simple. First, we teach the dog that the click means he's won a treat. Then we use the click to tell the dog when he has done something we like. Essentially, when your dog does what you want him to do, like a sit or a down, you click and give him a treat. This gives your dog instant, specific feedback. You can tell a child you can take him out for ice cream tomorrow because he earned good grades today. A dog, on the other hand, needs immediate pointers to help him understand what behavior he is being rewarded for. A clicker is the perfect tool for this. To charge the clicker, grab a handful of really yummy treats cut into small pieces no bigger than the size of your pinky nail. Every time you click, give your dog a treat. Be careful not to click and treat at the same time. The treat must follow the click, not precede or coincide with it. Do this standing up, sitting down, while moving about your house, indoors and outdoors. Basically, make sure your dog understands that the click means treat in all situations. Do the exercise a few times a day for a few minutes at a time until when you click, you notice that your dog is eagerly anticipating the treat. Don't give away that a treat is coming except with the click. For example, be careful not to reach for a treat, point the clicker toward the dog, or reach toward him with the treat before you click. Train yourself to insert a count or a word before you hand over the treat. Click, 1/1000, treat. In this video, you'll see mini Aussie puppy Vader demonstrate an anticipatory response after he gets the target behavior correct. We're working on looking away from the treat in my hand and at me. After the second repetition, he looks away from the treat and at me and licks his lips in anticipation of the reinforcement. A marker is a way to tell your dog, yes, that's it, that's exactly it. It works as a bridge between the desired behavior and the reinforcement, because timing is everything with your dog. If your reinforcement is late, you may be reinforcing the wrong behavior. So the beauty of the clicker is the timing and the clarity. It sounds the same no matter what. I find the precision very helpful with reactive dogs as well. And if you condition it well enough, the dog will have a positive response just hearing the clicker. Clicker means a treat is coming 100% of the time. If you hear a click, there's a treat 100% of the time. Now we're conditioning the word good. Good treat. This is a marker generally used for calmer behaviors like relaxing and down or staying put. It's to tell your dog to stay put. And now yes, when I'm tossing a treat away. Some trainers will distinguish where one means movement and the other means hold still, like this. So the rules of using a clicker are fairly simple. Click only once, and if you click, you must treat. You also do not want to use the clicker as a remote control. Don't use it to call your dog to you. One of the most difficult aspects of dog training is realizing that progress doesn't happen overnight. Changing your dog's behavior is a slow and gradual process that yields measurable results over time. We humans grant ourselves the luxury of learning things gradually. We read at the C-spot run level for years before we attempted War and Peace, for example. Why not extend our dogs the same courtesy? Being patient with and enjoying the process of training are the two most important qualities you can cultivate if you want good results from this or any training program. And now for a reminder of some of the rules of dog training. Timing is everything. Better to let a behavior go unrewarded than to reward it late. Raise criteria gradually. If your dog is making mistakes often, back up a step until he gets it right. Don't panic at regression. Sometimes you think your dog has got it down pat, but when it comes to dog training, taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back is normal. Varying the motivator. Don't use the same treats every day. Novelty is priceless. What's working? Ask yourself what behaviors are working for your dog. What's getting him what he wants? Are those the kind of behaviors you like? If you don't like the behavior, don't reward it. And patience is a virtue. True in general, and especially true in dog training, enjoy the process and focus on the small steps of progress rather than the distance to your final goal, great as it sometimes can seem. Now for some learning theory. First, dogs learn by association, by emotional response. A human example, We humans learn by association too. When you meet someone for the first time, you come away with an association, positive, negative, or neutral. If you really enjoyed the interaction, you are likely to be happy to see that person again. If you found the person difficult or argumentative, you might get that little pit of dread in your belly when you see him or her again. You have formed a negative association with that person. Human-dog comparison. Dogs experience the world this way too, perhaps more strongly than we humans because dogs lack the filter of rational thought. They are constantly forming emotional associations. Safe, dangerous, neutral or good for me, bad for me, neutral. These associations inform the decisions dogs make and the reactions they have to various situations and things in their environment. Dog example. A common example of associative learning in dogs is their reaction to the sight of a food bowl. Dogs love ceramics. Put out the right bowl and the average dog will jump into fits of joy. This is because dogs have come to learn that this particular bowl always predicts mealtime. Food is tasty, so we love food bowls. The amazing thing is that we can manipulate dogs' associations to things. For example, new puppies generally find leashes inconsequential. When first shown a 6-foot length of nylon with a clip at the end, they have a neutral association to it. But find a way to make a dog associate anything with something he loves, and you can teach him to love that too. How? Clip on the leash and give him treats or take him for a walk. Every time you leash him, take him for a walk or give him treats until you take the leash back off. Pretty soon the puppy figures out that the leash means fun, and bingo, you have a dog that loves leashes. The frightening thing is that learning by association also works in reverse. You can teach a dog to hate or fear leashes by repeatedly using them to give corrections or tie him up outside on his own. In this video, I'm helping Vader develop a positive association with standing calmly while he waits to get his leash put on. What does this mean to us? The implications are huge. Everything you do around your dog influences the associations he makes. Here is an important example. Say I'm walking my dog and I don't like the way he reacts to seeing another dog. Maybe he just barks in excitement, but I don't like it. I shout, "No!" and jerk his leash. This happens every time we see a dog. Pretty soon my dog's reaction to other dogs is terrible. He barks and growls and lunges and snaps because I have built a negative association in him. Dogs equal pain. In other words, I have taught my dog to dislike or fear other dogs. This is the main drawback of using punishment. It has unintended side effects. For example, it builds a negative association with the punisher, affecting the bond between person and dog. It is not that punishment doesn't work, it's that learning by association or emotion always comes along for the ride. So what might I do instead if my dog growls and lunges when he sees another dog? Reverse his negative association with other dogs. Treats are a good way to do this, but my dog might be too upset to take the treats. Put a spider in front of an arachnophobe and she'll have a hard time listening to instructions to sit down and stop screaming. But keep the spider 20 feet away, only show it for short periods of time, and distract the phobic person with conversation or chocolate, and things will probably have a better outcome. In this video, you'll see Enzo and I on a long line walk on a trail when we encounter a cyclist. We move off of the trail to get distance from the trigger, and I reinforce his attention with a tossed treat. In this example, Vader finds cars very interesting, which later in life, without intervention, can become car chasing. So I'm working to develop a positive emotional association with standing calmly with me as cars drive by. Being sure to have enough distance from the trigger, the cars, we stand back and away from the road, and I'm using a high-value reinforcer, squeeze cheese. The process is the same for dogs who are scared of or upset by something. It is called desensitization and involves the 3 Ds: distance, duration, and distraction. We move the dog further away from the upsetting object, try to keep the situation brief, and distract with cheerful voices and treats. Remember, we are not rewarding the dog for his ugly display or fear. He's too upset to control his behavior. We are trying to affect his emotional state so he feels no need to act that way, and we can then ask for a different behavior. In this example, you'll see Vader is suspicious of the trash can. So we stop at a distance that he is comfortable with, and I treat him with squeeze cheese to help him develop a positive association with trash cans as opposed to a negative one. The other way that dogs learn is by consequence, by doing. A human example, I can tell a school-age child that I will take him out for ice cream when I see him next week to celebrate his good report card. When he eats the ice cream, he understands he's being rewarded for grades he got a week ago, and he got those grades for work he did over several months. Human-dog comparison. A dog could never understand this. It is way beyond his ability to connect events. Dogs learn by consequence like we do, but for dogs, the consequence has to be immediate. Dog example. Say I lure a dog into a sit with my hand. Then I rummage around for the treat. By the time I deliver the treat 5 seconds later, the impact is lost because in those 5 seconds, the dog sneezed, sniffed the ground, and looked left. All of a sudden, a treat appeared. As far as the dog is concerned, he got it for looking left. You will eventually teach that dog to sit, but it will take a while. Or you might end up with a dog that sits and looks left as a matter of course. So what does this mean to us? That we need precision and immediacy to train dogs. This is why we use the clicker. It tells the dog the precise moment he won the treat. The clicker marks the moment. Once we have clicked, it doesn't matter if it takes us a few seconds to deliver the treat because the dog knows what he is getting the treat for. To teach the dog that the click means the treat is coming, we use learning by association. We pair the clicks with the treat. Every time the dog hears a click, he gets a treat. Pretty soon the dog understands that the click predicts a treat. So dogs learn in 2 ways, by association emotion and by consequence doing. And because of these 2 ways of learning, dogs see the world in 2 ways. What is safe and good for me versus what is dangerous, bad, and what works versus what doesn't. Safe versus dangerous. This outlook on life comes from learning by association. When dogs get punished for peeing on the carpet in front of you, they don't learn inside outside. They learn that it is not safe to pee in front of you, but it is safe to pee when you are not there. And works versus doesn't. This outlook on life comes from learning by consequence. All dogs try staring at the refrigerator as a strategy to get it to open. After a time, they give up because it doesn't work. The fridge never opens. They also try staring at their people at the dinner table. Every once in a while, someone gives in and shares a bite. Staring at people while they eat often works, so dogs continue to do it. What does this mean to us? Dogs don't do things we dislike to get back at us or be stubborn or naughty. This is a myth. To dogs, the world is either safe or dangerous, and things either work or they don't. Right or wrong never enters into it because dogs don't have the capacity for abstract thought. Dogs do what is safe and what works. That is all. So if a dog barks at you and you throw the ball, rest assured he'll do that again. If you ignore the barking, he will eventually give up and try something else. He's not trying to be obnoxious, he's just doing what works. If you ask a dog to sit and he doesn't, he's not being stubborn, you just haven't trained him well enough yet. In other words, dogs are dogs, not people. Be patient with your dog and careful about what you pay attention to and what you ignore, and you will soon have a relaxed, content, and well-trained four-legged friend. Now for 10 Things We Know About Real Dogs by Jean Donaldson from her book Culture Clash. Number 1, it's all chew toys to them. They have no concept of valuables. A shoe is as good a chew as a rawhide. 2, they are amoral and have no concept of right versus wrong, only safe versus dangerous. 3, they're self-interested. No desire to please. What is in it for me? In this example, you'll see Vader playing hide and seek with me for the first time. You will notice he takes no interest in coming to find me. What's in it for me? Nothing, he decides. Number 4, they're lemon brains, i.e. they have small and relatively unconvoluted brains which learn only through operant and classical conditioning. Number 5, they're predators. Search, chase, grab and hold, dissect, chew are all strongly wired. 6, they're highly social. Bond strongly and do not cope well with isolation. In this video example, you will see Enzo practicing his dissection skills with his kill, a squeaky bear toy. Number 7, they have a finite socialization period. Fight or flee anything they are not socialized to. Number 8, they are opportunistic and keen scavengers. If it is edible, eat it now. Number 9, they resolve conflicts through ritualized aggression. Never write letters to the editor. They never sue. They can aggress without fatal force and minimal damage to each other. And number 10, they have a well-developed olfactory system. In this video example, you will see more socialization for Vader before his finite socialization period has ended to things like delivery men and trucks and cars. The 4 Steps to Behavioral Wellness by Sarah Strimming from her blog, The Cognitive Canine. Before tackling behavior challenges with your dog, ensure that these 4 steps are being addressed. Sarah describes it as 4 steps to mental wellness for your dog. Step 1 is exercise. All dogs need 30 minutes of free off-leash aerobic exercise a day. Things like fetch, off-leash or long-line hikes in designated areas, play with other dogs, tug-of-war, and swimming are all great ways to ensure your dog's aerobic exercise needs are being met. Step 2 is enrichment. Regular access to innate, species-specific behaviors via enrichment toys and activities. Things like decompression walks, enrichment puzzles, foodstuff toys, and training are great forms of enrichment. Step 3 is nutrition. Feed quality food, fresh, whole food, and/or high-quality ingredient kibble. Hallmarks of quality are named animal protein source as the top ingredients, whole food ingredients, and certified organic, humanely raised, or sustainably farmed. And step 4, communication. Use positive reinforcement methods to communicate what you would like your dog to do. You never need to hurt, intimidate, or scare a dog to get it to do what you want. Your relationship is the best tool to achieve better behavior. This is going to conclude the orientation video. Thank you again for choosing me, and I can't wait to get started with you and your dog.